The transport ship shuddered as it docked with Kepler Station. Jinwoo Park grabbed his toolbox and looked out the window at the dead planet below. Vorthak Prime looked like a brown marble covered in dust and old ruins. He had seen pictures, but seeing it with his own eyes was different. "Welcome to the middle of nowhere," he said to himself. Dr. Hana Kim was waiting for him at the airlock. She was a small woman with tired eyes and dirt under her fingernails. "You must be our new mechanic. I'm Dr. Kim, head of the dig team." "Jinwoo Park," he said, shaking her hand. "Thanks for picking me up. The ride out here was long. 23 days from Earth, I know. Come on, let me show you around before you settle in." The station was bigger than Jinwoo expected. It had labs, living areas, and big windows that looked down at the planet. The hallways were full of aliens he had never seen before. Tall blue ones with 4 arms, short gray ones with big heads, and some that looked like walking trees. "Quite a mix," Dr. Kim said, noticing his stare. "The Galactic Council sent their best people. Everyone wants to study what's down there." She led him to the main observation deck. Through the huge window, Jinwoo could see the ruins of an ancient city. But what caught his eye was the giant robot standing in the middle of it. "That's the Sentinel," Dr. Kim said. 200 meters tall. It's been standing there for exactly 1,358 years. The thing was massive. It looked like a knight in armor, but made of metal and strange crystal parts. Even from space, Jinwoo could see details on its surface. Panels, joints, what looked like weapons on its arms. "Does it do anything?" he asked. "Nothing. It's been dead for over 1,000 years. The best minds in the galaxy have tried to figure it out." An alien with blue skin and fancy robes walked over to them. It had 4 arms and eyes that glowed softly. "Dr. Kim, is this the human mechanic?" "Ambassador Thoric, meet Jinwoo Park." "Jinwoo, this is Ambassador Thoric from the Altarian Republic." The alien looked Jinwoo up and down like he was studying a bug. "Fascinating. Another human to join our research. Though I fear you will find the Sentinel quite beyond your people's understanding." "Maybe," Jinwoo said. "What have you tried so far?" Ambassador Thoric's chest puffed up. "We have run quantum scans, dimensional analysis, and crystalline matrix studies. Our best scientists have spent months on this problem. The technology is simply too advanced." Dr. Kim pulled up pictures on a wall screen. "These are some of the other teams that have tried. The Centauri brought their best engineers. The Vegans sent their top computer experts. Everyone agrees. The Sentinel uses technology we can't understand." The pictures showed aliens with fancy equipment surrounding the giant robot. Floating scanners, crystal computers, machines that hummed with energy. All of it looked very expensive and very complicated. "What exactly is it supposed to do?" Jinwoo asked. "We think it was a guardian," Dr. Kim said. "The ruins suggest this. Was once a great city. Maybe the Sentinel protected it. But from what? We don't know. The people who built it are long gone. No records, no survivors, just empty buildings and one very dead robot." Jinwoo studied the image of the Sentinel on the screen. Something about it bothered him, but he couldn't put his finger on what. "Can I get a closer look?" Ambassador Thoric made a sound like a snort. "Closer? My dear human, we have examined every surface, every joint, every crystal matrix. There is nothing more to see." "Humor me." Dr. Kim smiled. "I like that attitude. We'll go down tomorrow. Fair warning, though. It's just a dead machine. Don't expect miracles." That evening, Jinwoo sat in his new quarters reading files about the Sentinel. The reports were long and full of big words, but they all said the same thing. The robot was made with technology nobody understood. Its power source was unknown. Its computer systems were too complex to decode. It was broken beyond repair. But something nagged at him. He had fixed a lot of broken things in his life. Starship engines, station life support, even alien equipment, when the regular repair teams gave up. Most problems were simpler than people thought. He opened his toolbox and looked at his gear. Basic stuff: wrenches, screwdrivers, a multimeter, some wire, electrical tape. Nothing fancy, but these tools had never let him down. The next morning, Dr. Kim met him at the shuttle bay. Ready for the grand tour? Let's do it. The shuttle ride down to the planet was smooth. As they got closer, the Sentinel got bigger and bigger. By the time they landed, it towered over them like a skyscraper. Impressive, isn't it? Dr. Kim said as they climbed out. Jinwoo craned his neck to look up at the robot's head. Yeah, but look at those scorch marks. Scorch marks? He pointed at dark patches on several panels near the robot's waist. Those aren't battle damage, that's what you get when electronics overheat. Dr. Kim squinted at the marks. The alien team said those were decorative patterns. Maybe. Or maybe this thing didn't break down. Maybe it shut itself off. They walked around the base of the Sentinel. The alien research teams had set up equipment everywhere. Scanning devices hummed and beeped. Scientists in environmental suits pointed instruments at different parts of the robot. Any luck today? Dr. Kim called to a tall gray alien. Negative. Dr. Kim, the quantum matrices remain inert. We detect no energy signatures beyond background radiation. Jinwoo knelt down near the robot's feet. The base was covered in dust and debris from over 1,000 years of wind and weather. But when he brushed some of it away, he found something interesting. Dr. Kim, come look at this. She hurried over. What is it? Unless I'm crazy, that's an access panel. Hidden under centuries of dirt was a small rectangular outline in the metal. It had what looked like a simple mechanical latch. Should we tell the research teams? Dr. Kim asked. Jinwoo looked at the busy aliens with their complicated equipment. Let's see what's inside first. He pulled out a small pry bar and worked it into the panel's edge. With a soft click, it popped open. Inside was a space about the size of a briefcase. And sitting right there, clear as day, was something Jinwoo recognized. Well, I'll be damned, he said. What is it? Unless I'm completely wrong, that's a circuit breaker. A really big, really alien circuit breaker. And it's been tripped. Dr. Kim stared at the alien device inside the access panel. Are you sure that's a circuit breaker? Jinwoo pulled out his multimeter and carefully touched the probes to different parts of the mechanism. The display showed exactly what he expected. Dead short on one side, open circuit on the other. Yeah, this thing tripped a long time ago. But the alien scientists have been looking at this thing from the outside with fancy scanners. Sometimes you need to get your hands dirty. A commotion behind them made them both turn around. Ambassador Thoric was walking toward them with a group of other aliens. His forearms were waving in what looked like excitement. Dr. Kim, what is the human doing to the Sentinel? Just taking a look, Ambassador. We found an access panel. Chief Analyst Vextar pushed forward. He was a short gray alien with a large head and big black eyes. Access panel? Impossible. Our quantum scanners would have detected any maintenance interfaces. Well, you missed one, Jinwoo said, standing up and brushing dirt off his knees. The aliens crowded around the open panel, chattering in their own languages. Vexitar pulled out a scanning device that looked like a crystal wand and waved it over the circuit breaker. Fascinating, he said. This appears to be some form of power regulation system, but the technology is beyond our current understanding. Jinwoo looked at Dr. Kim and raised an eyebrow. Beyond understanding? It's a safety switch. Ambassador, Thoric's chest puffed up again. Young human, you clearly do not comprehend what you are observing. This is a quantum crystalline matrix designed by a civilization that mastered technologies we can barely imagine. Maybe, Jinwoo said. But electricity is electricity, and this thing is telling me it shut down because of a power surge. Another alien joined the group. This one was tall and thin with green skin and too many joints in its arms. I am Research. Director Qualdris, are you suggesting that the Sentinel is merely broken? I'm suggesting it's in emergency shutdown mode. Big difference. The aliens looked at each other with expressions Jinwoo couldn't read. Finally, Vextar spoke up. Even if your primitive analysis were correct, activating an unknown alien defense system would be extremely dangerous. Who said anything about activating it? I just want to run some tests. Dr. Kim stepped between Jinwoo and the increasingly agitated aliens. Maybe we should take this back to the station, discuss it with Captain Choi. The ride back to Kepler station was tense. The aliens whispered among themselves while Jinwoo stared out the window at the Sentinel. The more he thought about it, the more convinced he became that the giant robot wasn't broken at all. Captain Minji Choi was waiting for them in the station's main conference room. She was a tough-looking woman with short black hair and eyes that missed nothing. I hear we have a disagreement about our ancient friend down there. Ambassador Thoric immediately launched into a long speech about human inexperience and the dangers of interfering with advanced alien technology. Vextar added his own concerns about proper scientific protocols. Research Director Qualdris questioned whether humans were qualified to make such assessments. Through it all, Captain Choi watched Jinwoo. When the aliens finally finished talking, she turned to him. What's your take, mechanic? I think the Sentinel had a power problem about 1,300 years ago. Its safety systems kicked in and shut it down. Nobody ever came back to reset it. And you base this on what? Scorch marks consistent with electrical overload, a tripped circuit breaker in an access panel, and the fact that all the alien scans show dormant systems, not damaged ones. Dr. Woobin Lee, the station's physicist, leaned forward. That's an interesting theory. But even if you're right, we don't know what might happen if we try to reactivate it. We don't know what might happen if we don't, Jinwoo replied. That thing has been standing guard over an empty city for over 1,000 years. Maybe it has information about what happened to the people who built it. Dr. Yuna Shin, the safety officer, shook her head. Too risky. What if it's a weapon system? What if it sees us as threats? What if it doesn't? Captain Choi held up a hand for quiet. Ambassador Thoric, what's the official position of the Galactic Council? The Council has designated the Sentinel as a protected archaeological artifact. Any attempt to alter or activate it would require extensive review and approval. How long would that take? Perhaps 18 to 24 months, assuming approval is granted at all. Jinwoo couldn't help himself. 2 years to flip a switch? Ambassador, Thoric's eyes flashed. This is not a matter for crude human engineering. The technologies involved are beyond your species' comprehension. You keep saying that, Jinwoo said, staying calm. But I'm looking at a simple electrical problem. The kind I've fixed 1,000 times. Chief Analyst Vextar pulled up a holographic display. Observe the quantum resonance patterns. Note the crystalline matrix alignments. These systems operate on principles your people have yet to discover. Jinwoo studied the display. It looked complicated, but underneath all the fancy words and glowing diagrams, he could see familiar patterns. Power distribution, control circuits, safety interlocks. Different technology, same basic principles. I see a machine that's been waiting for someone to press the reset button, he said. The room erupted in alien chatter. Ambassador Thoric was gesturing wildly with all four arms. Research Director Qualdris was clicking in rapid bursts. Even the normally calm Vextar seemed agitated. Captain Choi waited for the noise to die down. Dr. Kim, what's your opinion? Jinwoo has a good track record with impossible repairs. Remember the time he fixed the Rigel Station life support with a paper clip and some chewing gum? That was different, Dr. Shin protested. This is an alien artifact of unknown power, which has been sitting there doing nothing for over 1,000 years, Dr. Kim pointed out. Captain Choi was quiet for a long moment. Finally, she looked at Jinwoo. What exactly are you proposing? Let me run some proper diagnostics. Map out the power systems. See if I can figure out what went wrong and how to fix it. If it looks too dangerous, we stop. Absolutely not. Ambassador Thoric jumped to his feet. The liability alone. Ambassador, Captain Choi interrupted. This is a human station in human space. We'll make our own decisions about acceptable risk. She turned back to Jinwoo. You'll work with Dr. Lee on the technical analysis. Dr. Shin will handle safety protocols. And I want hourly reports. Yes, ma'am. As the meeting broke up, Ambassador Thoric approached Jinwoo. Young human, I hope you understand the magnitude of what you are proposing. The Sentinel represents technology centuries beyond your current capabilities. Maybe, Jinwoo said, but broken is broken no matter who built it. And I've never met a machine I couldn't fix. The alien's eyes glowed brighter. Your confidence is remarkable. Thank you. I did not mean it as a compliment. The next morning, Jinwoo stood in the station's equipment bay loading his tools into a hover cart. Dr. Lee was checking and rechecking a list of safety equipment while Dr. Shin paced back and forth, muttering about proper protocols. I still think, this is a bad idea, Dr. Shin said for the 10th time. We should wait for the council's approval. 2 years is a long time to stare at a giant paperweight, Jinwoo replied, checking his multimeter's battery. Engineer Kyung Park wheeled another cart over to them. He was Jinwoo's assistant, a quiet man who was very good with his hands. I brought the portable generator and some extra cable. Figured we might need backup power for the diagnostics. Good thinking. Dr. Kim appeared at the bay door. The aliens are not happy about this. Ambassador Thorick spent an hour this morning sending messages to the Galactic Council. Let me guess, they want us to stop. They want us to follow proper procedures, which apparently involve committees and review boards and impact studies. Jinwoo snorted. By the time they finish their paperwork, that robot will have been standing there for 1,500 years. The trip down to the planet was quieter than usual. When they landed near the Sentinel, Jinwoo was surprised to see that the alien research teams had packed up most of their equipment. Where did everybody go? He asked Dr. Kim. Ambassador Thorick ordered them to maintain a safe distance while you work. Something about not wanting to be held responsible for the consequences. How far is a safe distance? 5 kilometers. Jinwoo looked around at the empty research site. The only people left were his small human team and a few brave alien observers, who had stationed themselves behind some large rocks. Guess it's just us then. He walked over to the Sentinel and opened the access panel he had found the day before. The circuit breaker was exactly as he had left it, clearly tripped, waiting for someone to reset it. Before we do anything, Dr. Lee said, let's map out what we're dealing with. They spent the next 2 hours following power conduits and control lines. The Sentinel's design was elegant and logical once you figured out the basic principles. The aliens had built their technology differently than humans, but the underlying physics were the same. It's actually pretty straightforward, Jinwoo said, pointing at a junction box they had uncovered. Main power comes in here, gets distributed to the various systems through these crystalline conduits. When something went wrong, the safety systems triggered and shut everything down. But what went wrong? Dr. Lee asked. Jinwoo had been wondering the same thing. They had traced several power lines to what looked like damaged components. Burn marks, cracked crystals, melted metal. But the damage was localized, not catastrophic. My best guess? Lightning strike, or maybe a power surge from whatever they used as a main power source. The robot systems tried to handle it, but eventually the safety breakers kicked in. Kyung pointed to a large crystalline structure near the robot's chest. What about that? It looks important. Main computer core. I think. The power feeds all route through it. Jinwoo climbed up on a maintenance ladder to get a closer look. Yeah, this is definitely the brain of the operation. Dr. Shin's voice crackled over the radio. Teams Alpha and Beta, be advised. We're detecting energy fluctuations from your position. What kind of fluctuations? Dr. Lee asked. Small ones, but they're increasing as you work. Jinwoo paused in his examination of the computer core. Maybe the robot knows we're here. That's not possible, Dr. Lee said. All the scans show it's completely inactive. All the scans showed there wasn't an access panel either. A new voice came over the radio, Ambassador Thorick, broadcasting from his safe position 5 kilometers away. Human team, we strongly advise you to cease your activities immediately. Our sensors are detecting quantum fluctuations consistent with system activation. We're not activating anything yet, Jinwoo replied. Just looking around. Nevertheless, the risk. Jinwoo switched off his radio. Guy worries too much. By afternoon, they had a complete picture of the Sentinel's condition. The main power systems were intact but shut down. The computer core showed signs of life when they tested certain circuits. Most importantly, the safety systems that had protected the robot for over 1,000 years were still functioning perfectly. "I think we can do this," Jinwoo announced. "But we'll need to bypass some damaged sections and jury-rig a few connections." Dr. Lee looked nervous. "Jury-rig? This is 1,000-year-old alien technology. It's also broken 1,000-year-old alien technology. Sometimes you have to improvise." Jinwoo opened his toolbox and pulled out a roll of electrical tape. "Trust me, I've done this before." The alien observers, watching through telescopes from behind their rocks, began chattering excitedly as the humans started making modifications to the Sentinel. Jinwoo used electrical tape to secure a bypass around a damaged power coupling. Kyung spliced human cables into alien conduits using techniques they had learned fixing starships. Dr. Lee calculated power loads and made sure they weren't about to overload anything important. "This is insane." Dr. Shin's voice came over the radio. "You're modifying an archaeological treasure with duct tape." "Actually, it's electrical tape," Jinwoo corrected. "Duct tape comes later." "I'm serious. What if you damage something irreplaceable? What if I fix something irreplaceable?" By evening, they had made all the repairs they could think of. The Sentinel stood exactly as it had for over 1,000 years, but now it had human cables running along its legs and electrical tape holding various panels together. "Moment of truth," Jinwoo said, standing in front of the main power coupling. The reset switch he had rigged from spare parts looked tiny next to the massive alien machinery. Dr. Kim had come down from the station to watch. She handed Jinwoo a bottle of beer from the station's small supply. "Thought you might want this." "Thanks." He took a long drink and looked up at the Sentinel's dark face. "You know what? This might actually work. And if it doesn't, then we'll have the most expensive pile of junk in the galaxy." He handed the beer back to Dr. Kim. "Hold my beer." Dr. Kim took the bottle with a confused expression. "Hold your what?" "It's a human expression. It means I'm about to do something that's either brilliant or incredibly stupid." "Which one is this?" Jinwoo grinned and reached for the reset switch. "We're about to find out." The switch clicked home with a sound that seemed to echo across the empty city. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the ground began to vibrate. The vibration started small, like a distant engine coming to life. Then it grew stronger. The ground under their feet began to hum with energy that had been sleeping for over 1,000 years. "Oh my," Dr. Kim whispered, still holding Jinwoo's beer. Lights began to flicker deep inside the Sentinel's chest. Not the harsh white lights of human technology, but a soft blue glow that pulsed like a heartbeat. The crystalline power conduits that Jinwoo had repaired started to shine, carrying energy through the massive robot's body. "It's working," Dr. Lee said, his voice full of wonder. "The power grid is coming online." Kyung was watching his instruments. Energy readings are climbing steadily. Everything looks stable so far. The alien observers 5 kilometers away were no longer hiding behind rocks. Through his binoculars, Jinwoo could see them running around their equipment, probably recording everything. Their radio chatter was so excited it overloaded the translation computers. "Human team," came Ambassador Thoric's voice, tight with what sounded like panic. "Our sensors show massive energy buildups. You must abort immediately." "Can't abort now," Jinwoo replied, watching more systems come online. "We're past the point of no return." The Sentinel's head began to move, slowly, carefully, like someone waking up from a very long sleep. Ancient joints that hadn't moved in 13 centuries creaked and groaned, but they moved smoothly. Whatever the original builders had used for lubricants, it was still working. "This is incredible," Dr. Kim breathed. "Look at the city." Jinwoo turned to see lights appearing in the ruins around them. Street lamps flickered to life. Windows in the ancient buildings began to glow. After more than 1,000 years of darkness, the dead city was waking up. The whole place was connected, he realized. The Sentinel wasn't just a guard robot. It was running the entire city. Dr. Shin's voice crackled over the radio from the station above. Captain Choi wants a full report. The energy readings are off the charts. Tell her everything's under control, Jinwoo said, though he wasn't entirely sure that was true. The Sentinel's optical sensors blazed to life like blue stars. They swept across the landscape, taking in the ruins, the research equipment, and finally the small group of humans standing at its feet. When those ancient eyes focused on Jinwoo, he felt a chill run down his spine. The robot's head tilted slightly, studying him. Then it spoke. The voice was like thunder rolling across the mountains, deep, resonant, and utterly alien. The words meant nothing to the humans, but the translation computers on their equipment began working frantically to decode the language. Systems. Restored. Initiating. Diagnostic. Protocols. The translation appeared on their displays, a few seconds after the words were spoken. The Sentinel paused as if waiting for the computers to catch up, then continued. Error, chronometer, indicates, excessive, temporal, displacement, query, current, date. Dr. Lee fumbled with his tablet. How do we answer that? Carefully, Jinwoo said. He activated his communication system and spoke slowly and clearly. Current date is approximately 1,358 years after your last activation. The Sentinel processed this for a long moment. Its optical sensors dimmed and brightened several times, like someone blinking in confusion. Confirmed. Temporal, displacement, excessive, query, status, of builders. That was the question Jinwoo had been dreading. How do you tell a robot that the people who built it have been dead for over 1,000 years? The builders are gone, he said finally. We found no trace of them, only ruins and you. Another long pause. The Sentinel's head turned to survey the empty city, its sensors taking in details that must have been very different the last time it was awake. Understood. Initiating. Preservation. Protocols. Query. Identity. Of. Repair. Technician. Jinwoo Park. I'm a mechanic from Earth. Acknowledged. Jinwoo Park. Query. Purpose. Of. Presence. Dr. Kim stepped forward. We're explorers, scientists. We came to study your builder's civilization. Acknowledged. Explorer. Designation. Dr. Hana Kim. The Sentinel's attention returned to Jinwoo. Repair. Technician. Jinwoo. Park. Query. Method. Of. System. Restoration. Jinwoo looked up at the towering robot. You had a power surge. Safety systems shut you down. I reset the circuit breakers and bypassed some damaged components. Scanning. Repair. Modifications. The robot's sensors swept over its own body, examining the human additions. Techniques. Unfamiliar but effective. Query. Technological. Classification. Of. Repair. Species. We're pretty basic compared to your builders, but we're good at fixing things. Interesting. Primitive. Methods. Achieving. Sophisticated results. Ambassador Thoric's voice burst over the radio. Human team. You will cease communication with the artifact immediately. This is a violation of first contact protocols. The Sentinel's head swiveled toward the distant. Alien observers. Additional. Life. Forms. Detected. Initiating. Communication. Protocols. A beam of light shot out from the robot's optical sensors, painting the alien research camp 5 kilometers away. There was a burst of excited chatter from the aliens, then Ambassador Thoric's voice came back over the radio, much calmer than before. The Sentinel is attempting to establish communication links with our equipment. Its technology is remarkable. Communication. Established. Greetings. Galactic. Entities. Query. Purpose. Of. Presence. Dr. Suho Kang, the station's linguist, joined the conversation from orbit. Sentinel, we are researchers studying your builder's civilization. We mean no harm to you or your city. Acknowledged. Research. Entities. Warning. Archaeological. Sites. Contain. sensitive, materials, preservation, protocols, now, active. The lights in the city grew brighter as the Sentinel took full control of its domain. Ancient systems that had been waiting patiently for over 1,000 years sprang back to life. Environmental controls, security systems, data archives, all of it functioning as if it had never been shut down. "This is incredible," Dr. Kim said, looking at the readings on her tablet. "The preservation systems are perfect. Everything in the city has been maintained exactly as it was when the builders left. Query, repair, technician, Jinwoo, park, compensation, for, restoration, services." Jinwoo blinked. Compensation? Repair, services, require, acknowledgement. What? Payment. Do. You. Request. I don't need payment. I was just doing my job. The Sentinel's optical sensors focused on him with what might have been surprise. Clarification, repair, performed, without expectation of reward. That's right. Fascinating. Such behavior indicates advanced ethical development despite primitive technology. From the radio came Ambassador Thoric's indignant voice. Primitive? These humans have accomplished what our most advanced teams could not. Acknowledged. Human engineering demonstrates superior, practical, application, despite, limited, theoretical, knowledge. Jinwoo wasn't sure if that was a compliment or not, but he decided to take it as one. The Sentinel straightened to its full height, systems humming with power. Innotating, caretaker, protocols, city, archives, now accessible to research, entities, warning, dangerous, areas, will remain restricted. "Thank you," Dr. Kim said. "This is an incredible gift to science. Acknowledgement, gift, given in honor of repair, technician, Jinwoo, park, designation, honorary, builder, assigned." The massive robot looked down at Jinwoo with something that might have been respect. Gratitude beyond measure, honorary, builder, Jinwoo, park. 3 days later, Kepler Station buzzed with activity like Jinwoo had never seen. The ancient city below was fully operational, its buildings glowing with soft light and its systems humming with life. The Sentinel stood at its center like a benevolent giant, managing everything with the patience of someone who had been waiting over 1,000 years to get back to work. "The data downloads are incredible," Dr. Kim said, reviewing files on her tablet. "The Sentinel has given us access to historical records, technical manuals, even cultural archives. We'll be studying this for decades." Captain Choi nodded from her seat at the conference table. "The Galactic Council is impressed." Ambassador Thoric sent a formal apology for doubting human capabilities. "What did he say exactly?" Jinwoo asked. "Something about humans possessing unconventional wisdom and practical genius beyond their theoretical limitations." "I think that's alien for we were wrong," Dr. Lee said with a grin. The conference room door opened and Engineer Kyung walked in carrying a datapad and looking excited. "You need to see this. The Sentinel just finished its full diagnostic report." He activated the wall display, showing a detailed scan of the ancient robot systems. "Remember how we thought it shut down because of a power surge? We were right, but we didn't know the whole story." The display zoomed in on the robot's power core. 1,358 years ago, there was a massive solar flare. The radiation hit the planet's power grid and caused surges across the entire city. The Sentinel's builders evacuated, thinking they'd be back in a few days to reset the systems. But they never came back, Dr. Kim said quietly. "No. According to the historical records, they were hit by a plague while they were in their shelters. The whole civilization was wiped out within months." A somber silence fell over the room. Jinwoo thought about the Sentinel, standing guard, over an empty city for over 1,000 years, waiting for people who would never return. That's why it was so easy to fix, he realized. It wasn't broken. It was just waiting. Dr. Shin looked at the power consumption reports. The Sentinel has been running city maintenance protocols this whole time. Atmospheric processors, structural repairs, data preservation. Everything was kept in perfect condition. Like a museum, Captain Choi said. Or a tomb. Jinwoo's radio crackled to life. Honorary. Builder. Jinwoo. Park. Request. Immediate. Consultation. On my way, Jinwoo replied. He had gotten used to the Sentinel's formal way of speaking. Under all that ancient protocol, he was starting to understand the robot's personality. The shuttle ride down to the planet had become routine. The alien research teams were back, their equipment set up in carefully organized camps around the city. They still looked nervous whenever the Sentinel moved, but they were no longer hiding behind rocks. Jinwoo found the massive robot kneeling in the city's central plaza. Its optical sensors focused on a section of damaged pavement. When it saw him approaching, it straightened up. Greetings, honorary builder. Problem. Requires human expertise. What kind of problem? The Sentinel gestured toward a building that had partially collapsed during the centuries of neglect. Structural. Repair. Requires. Improvised. Solutions. Original. Materials. No. Longer. Available. Jinwoo walked around the building studying the damage. It was an ancient library. Its walls cracked and its roof partially caved in. But the basic structure was sound. I can fix this, he said, but I'll need to use human materials and techniques. Acceptable. Question. Will human methods provide adequate longevity? They've kept our buildings standing for thousands of years. Should work here too. Excellent. An additional question. Human. Jinwoo. Park. Yeah. Query. Meaning of praise. Hold. My beer. Jinwoo laughed. It's something. Humans say when we're about to try something that might be crazy but could work out great. Fascinating. Human. Confidence. Despite uncertainty. Most illogical. Yet highly effective. That's us in a nutshell. Over the following weeks, Jinwoo found himself spending more and more time on the planet. The Sentinel was endlessly curious about human engineering methods. It watched with what seemed like fascination as Jinwoo repaired buildings using techniques the ancient builders had never imagined. Your people approach problems differently than my builders, the Sentinel observed one day. Its translation systems finally advanced enough for normal conversation. How so? My builders would spend months calculating the perfect solution. You see a problem and immediately begin trying solutions. Yeah, well, sometimes you just have to jump in and see what works. This approach should result in numerous failures. It does, but we learn from the failures and try again. Remarkable. You treat failure as information rather than defeat. The alien research teams had stopped questioning Jinwoo's methods. After watching him successfully repair systems they couldn't even understand, they had started asking for his help with their own equipment problems. It's the strangest thing, Dr. Kim told him one evening. Ambassador Thoric's quantum scanner broke down yesterday. Instead of calling for a replacement, he asked if you could look at it. Did I fix it? With electrical tape and what you called percussive maintenance. He's been telling everyone that humans possess intuitive technological comprehension. Is that good? Coming from him, it's practically worship. The biggest breakthrough came when the Sentinel opened the city's main archive. It was a vast underground complex filled with the accumulated knowledge of an entire civilization. History, science, art, philosophy, everything the ancient builders had learned was preserved there. This is the most significant archaeological discovery in galactic history, Dr. Suho Kang said, staring at the endless rows of data crystals. We'll need years just to catalog it all. The Sentinel stood at the entrance to the archive, its optical sensors sweeping over the assembled researchers. This knowledge belongs to all sentient beings freely given in honor of honorary builder Jinwoo Park. Ambassador Thoric stepped forward. His forearms spread in what Jinwoo had learned was a gesture of respect. On behalf of the Galactic Council, we thank both you and Honorary Builder Park for this incredible gift. The Sentinel's head turned toward Jinwoo. Query, Honorary, Builder, Evaluation, of a mission, Success. I'd say we did pretty good. You're back online, the city's preserved, and everyone's got more ancient knowledge than they know what to do with. Agreed. Mission, parameters, exceeded, additional, query. What's that? Human, engineering, techniques, prove, highly, effective, request, permission, to, incorporate, methods, into, maintenance, protocols. Jinwoo grinned. You want to learn duct tape maintenance? Affirmative. Also, electrical, tape, procedures, and percussive, maintenance, applications. The assembled alien scientists looked horrified at the thought of an ancient super robot using human repair techniques. But Jinwoo could see the logic in it. Sure thing. I'll teach you everything I know. Excellent, warning, lesson, plan, will require significant quantities of human beer. Why, observation, human, engineering, breakthroughs appear correlated with beer consumption. Dr. Kim laughed. He's got you figured out. 6 months later, Jinwoo stood on the observation deck of Kepler Station, looking down at the thriving research community that had grown up around the ancient city. The Sentinel had become not just a guardian, but a teacher, sharing the wisdom of its builders with anyone curious enough to ask. The massive robot had also become surprisingly good at improvised repairs. Just last week, it had fixed a broken atmospheric processor using what it called Honorary Builder Park methodology, which involved electrical tape, creative problem-solving, and what the Sentinel had learned to call strategic application of force. Any regrets? Captain Choi asked, joining him at the window. About what? Fixing the impossible robot, changing galactic history, making the aliens question everything they thought they knew about technology. Jinwoo thought about it for a moment. Down below, the Sentinel was carefully tending to its city, while alien scientists scurried around like excited students. It was exactly what he had hoped for when he first saw that tripped circuit breaker. Nah, he said, taking a sip of his beer. Sometimes the best solution is the simple one. The Sentinel's voice echoed from the communication system. Honorary, Builder, Jinwoo, Park, Request, Beer, Holding, Services, New, Repair, Project, Identified. Jinwoo grinned and headed for the shuttle bay. Some things never changed.